Okay, we're finally to the point where we're able to do a complete solar electric system. This is the first video in a new series we're going to do that is going to outline everything we're doing, how we designed it, all the components we're going to use, up to the point where we turn everything on and hopefully we have tons and tons of electricity. So we're excited. This is the first video in the series, and in this video I'm going to talk about how we sized and designed our system. So let's get started. Now, if you're wondering what this is, these are 18 290 watt solar modules from Solar World, which should allow us to build a 5.2 kilowatt array. We got these from altestore.com. We actually are getting all of our components from altestore.com. They're an amazing distributor. We researched tons and tons of sources to try and put together the system we wanted, and they came through for us, and they were great to work with. So right now we're going to get started on how we figured out how much system to build. Okay, the first thing when designing our system was we needed to understand how many watts per day we needed to generate. And to do that, we had to do a complete energy audit and create what's called a load list. And that is measuring every electrical device that we use for a period of at least an hour, probably 24 hours. And what we're trying to figure out is how much energy that uses in terms of watt hours per day. To do that, we used a watt meter. This is one you've probably seen me use in other videos. This is by Tact Life. I got it on Amazon. It's cheap and easy. You plug whatever you want to measure into this, and then you plug that into your wall. If it's something that you only use occasionally, like a kitchen appliance, you can plug it in, run it, get a measurement, and then you'll know how much it costs or how much energy it uses for that use. If it's something like, say, your washing machine, where you only are running it while you're doing a load of laundry, then you can calculate how many watt hours each load of laundry costs. If it's a critical load, say something like your refrigerator that needs to be able to run 24/7, you want to leave this hooked up for at least 24 hours to get a good idea of how many watt hours per day your refrigerator is consuming. Just to demonstrate, this is our rechargeable battery station. I'm going to plug that in here. I'm going to plug this in here, and now I'm going to get a reading and turn this on. And these are all of our rechargeables: batteries, walkie-talkies. This is where I charge my camera batteries and everything else. Okay, so now this is on, and I can measure this for 24 hours to see how much this would consume if this were on all the time. In terms of watt hours or kilowatt hours used, and that's what we're trying to determine, is our total watt hours required each day. And here you can see it's reading out kilowatt hours and the number of amps it's drawing. And after you're done using it, you can reset it and move it on to the next device. Okay, so I made my load list, and then from that load list I determined what my critical loads were. And those are things like a freezer or a refrigerator that absolutely need to run 24/7. On my load list, I have the refrigerator and basically the internet router. So that's not too bad. Now, the reason you want a critical load list is because those are the things that you definitely want to be able to run using your battery bank. The other loads that are not critical, like say a washing machine or a food processor or things like that, you can run during the day when it's real sunny, and you're not really going to draw too much on your battery bank, but you need to account for all of those loads. Okay, so our load list, we ended up with about 4,000 watt hours per day, so 4 kilowatt hours per day that I need to be able to generate energy for. And in designing our system, we wanted to be able to expand it later, so I'm not designing it right up to 4 kilowatt hours a day and then that'll be maxed out, because that gives me no room to expand it later. And one of the critical things we did was try to identify all of the places where we could reduce the use of energy or replace something that we were doing that used energy with something that doesn't use energy. So things like, instead of using a freezer, we can a lot of our foods, so we don't actually need a freezer. There are DC appliances that are alternatives to AC appliances, so that you could run those directly off your batteries and not have to invert them, which is a much more efficient design. You could do things like install a gravity-fed cistern for your water system rather than running a very high wattage pump all the time that would really strain a solar system. And so looking around and trying to find all of the places that we could eliminate AC appliances and replace them with either a manual or a DC appliance or a completely different way of accomplishing that task was another part of what we went through when designing our system. Now, when you're measuring all of the appliances, be aware of a thing called phantom loads. Those are things that are plugged into your wall, turned off, but they're still drawing electricity. TVs, cable TV boxes, satellite TV boxes, any kind of entertainment appliance are notorious for drawing energy when they're not even on. They're in hibernate mode or sleep mode. We went through and we keep all of those types of things unplugged unless we absolutely need to use them. Our washing machine is a great example. If it's plugged in, the computer is still on and it's drawing electricity, which is completely useless, unnecessary. So we unplug our washing machine when we're not using it. So phantom loads, if you have enough of them plugged in, they will just draw down your batteries and waste your energy. So be aware of phantom loads. Okay, so I know that we need 4 kilowatt hours per day right now. I also know that we're going to be building a barn. We're going to be doing some different things with our water system, possibly even air conditioning and things like that. And so I wanted to design a system that could accommodate everything we need to be able to add to it later. So 4 kilowatt hours a day now. Our solar array that we're starting with is a 5200 watt array that should be able to generate 20 kilowatt hours a day. And in the next video, we're going to talk about batteries and the battery bank that we are going with, and all about batteries and why we are going with lithium iron phosphate from Simplify. So if you guys want to see a DIY solar electrical system from start to finish, follow along in this series. We're going to create a playlist. Again, this is the first video in probably 7. The next one will be batteries. We'll see you then. Thanks for watching.